second, and then I gotta find my group.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, take your sweet time.
Thank you. I'm gonna go to the group. We are going to find it. And then I always think that it's not live, and so I'm just hanging out, and then I watch the recording and it's like, oh, it was live for like 30 seconds of just looking around. So
I've definitely done that before, especially with the Instagram lives, because you have to coordinate with someone else. So there's always one person that's waiting for the first couple of minutes, and then the other person pops on. It's very funny.
Okay, so I'm gonna hit go live, and then we'll just see. I'll kind of keep an eye on to see if anybody is asking a question in the group. So if you look down, that's what I'm gonna be looking.
Yeah, of course. If I look down, I just like to take notes too sometimes, just so I have things to reflect on later as well.
Okay, here we go. All right. Well, hello. If you are watching, please say hello. We'd love to hear from you guys. Hopefully you are seeing this live in the group. If not, maybe you can catch the replay. I'm so excited to welcome Jelsy Martinez to the group here. Jelsy is a national board certified health coach. She integrates sorry, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Totally fine. Yes. So yeah, I'm a national board certified health and wellness coach. I used to do more general practice health, like just, anything you're trying to change as far as like developing a healthy lifestyle. But now I've become more specific towards like artists and creatives.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that like struggle getting out of their head, or maybe struggling with their mental health, just to help build a healthy lifestyle, one that's sustainable and that they can just come back to whenever they start to fall off course. Also to feel self-acceptance. That's a big piece of what I do, and everything I do is it all comes down to this core piece of just feeling free to express yourself and to be yourself without having to worry about what other people think or that negative voice inside your head. So yes, the healthy lifestyle is a foundation for self-acceptance.
Oh, wow, that's great. I think everybody could benefit from that. But I can see how that relates to the creative people, artists, and that kind of thing, especially. Yeah. Great. And how did you get into this?
Oh man. So it definitely started with my own depression and anxiety and not being healthy myself. And so I went through that for a while, the depression and anxiety. And then when I was in high school, I was in cross country. And so I started learning a little bit about health and wellness, but nothing too crazy. But it was enough that whenever I was kind of fed up with being depressed and anxious all the time, I was like, okay, well, let's get into this again. Like, let's start exercising and let's think about what we're eating, because it does affect our mental health and our well-being. And then I started getting into mindset, like the way I'm thinking about different things. And then I had dropped out of college my first year due to depression and anxiety. But when I re-enrolled, it was just because of one moment where I felt okay after so many years of being depressed and anxious and totally not feeling worthy of anything at the moment. But yeah, I had one day where I just like felt good and I loved myself and it was great. And I was like, how in the world do I teach other people how to do this too? Yeah, it was pretty cool. And then that's how I found the degree path of health and wellness coaching, because it kind of gives you the flexibility to look at someone's life holistically, like we were talking about before we went live. Is like there's so many different things that go into play whenever you are like trying to live a life that you truly want to be in and truly like feel okay with.
The creative life.
Yeah, yes, exactly. So yeah, that's how I ended up here doing what I do.
Nice. Great. So I know that especially as related to achieving fitness goals, there's a lot of mindset issues that can come up. Do you think that it's nice to have a support person, somebody to kind of be on your side and help you out? Can you
Yeah,
talk a little bit more about that?
100% yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I would definitely say 100% yes. For me, it started with cross country, having a cross country coach, someone that holds you accountable and teaches you new ways to be healthy and just listens to you. That was like my first experience with coaching, I suppose, but not in the one-on-one setting. It was more of a team, a group. But then after that, I didn't really have that person for a while when I was depressed and anxious.
Oh,
And I just started reading books and doing a lot of the like work on my own and learning a lot. But that's definitely more time consuming. And it just doesn't hit the same way because you don't have someone holding you accountable or someone that's kind of showing you, okay, like if there's not just one way to do this, there's multiple ways and we can find a way that works for you instead of reading one book and being like, okay, this has to be the way I do it.
right. They have different options.
Yeah.
They can different tools to pull off the tool belt to try out.
Exactly. Yeah. So working with an accountability partner or a coach, or even therapy, I think they're doing a lot of work with like behavior change and motivational interviewing now. But yeah, I would say that 100% if you're starting out and you have no clue like where to turn, what to do next, just having a coach, even for like 3 to 6 months, can be absolutely life changing because you're going to learn how to have a growth mindset and how to figure out solutions to your health problems in a way that is unique to you and not just what people tell you you have to believe.
Right, or something that you saw on YouTube that worked for somebody. That kind of thing. Got it.
Exactly.
Great. And does that also relate to like your significant other, like in the home or anything like that in your family?
Yeah, definitely having a support system, people that you can trust and talk to. When it comes to, I know like it's definitely different for everybody, but for me, like I have certain things that I go to, like to my partner for like different like support or, hey, I told myself I was going to walk the dogs every week. Can you like let me know if I don't walk the dogs? The only thing about that is they're not trained in the same way that a coach, unless they are a coach, you know, you're dating a coach. They're not trained in the same way. So they might continue to tell you, okay, and it's from a place of love, but they might tell you, well, you have to do this or you should do this. And it's not the same as when you talk to a coach because a coach does more evoking, like getting from you what feels really good and right and beautiful to you. But it is good to have like your partner or siblings or friends, and just letting them in on what's going on of like, hey, I'm starting to work out again. Do you want to come with me or do you want to hold me accountable?
Share the experience.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, great. I know a lot of people say that they're going to work out or say that they're going to change their diet, and maybe even they start doing that, but they find that it's hard to keep up with it, and it's hard to actually make the changes and then make the changes stick. Do you have any thoughts on how to help that?
Yeah, I wrote a couple down while I was preparing. Just I guess so right now on my YouTube, I'm doing something called the No Motivation series. And it's just talking about that same thing is like how to get out of that cycle of, okay, I'm doing this for 3 days and then I find one really good excuse and then I just fall off for, months at a time until I get the motivation to do it again. And oftentimes we think that it's the motivation that we need. But in reality, it's like a type of like commitment and discipline, which even though the series is about like motivation, you're learning that it's not really the motivation that we're looking for because you're not motivated all the time. And I'm sure Cynthia, you too, like you're probably not motivated all the time to get up and work out and
yep.
right and sleep well. And I can relate to that as well. It's about learning discipline and commitment as a form of self-love. So instead of looking at that word as discipline, like that's strict and restrictive, and I can't do this and I can't do that, instead softening it a little as like an extension of self-love. So if you're being disciplined about things that do make you feel really good and things that, if you do consistently, it's going to improve your life, then it is an act of self-love. And so changing the mindset on what discipline is and knowing that you won't always be motivated. So for the moments that you aren't motivated, a couple things that I wrote down were, so I'm not sure, I believe his name is James Clear. Are you familiar with the 1% rule?
The 1%. I know 80-20, that one, I can't remember.
Yeah, that one's a good one too.
But it's different. Okay.
Yeah. I believe we can link it somewhere if I do like find the correct person to like give this
attribute it to.
Yes, attribute it to. Thank you. Yeah. So he talks about the 1% rule of just doing a little bit every day. So like starting very, very small, especially if it's something that you can't, like that you currently aren't keeping up. So if your goal is to work out and you can start like super small, you guys, like super small, but just if your goal is to like, okay, every morning I'm going to wake up and I'm going to go on a walk. Sometimes that starts with just waking up and stepping outside every morning, waking up, stepping outside, waking up, stepping outside, and doing that every morning because your brain starts to get turn that into a habit of, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to step outside. We're not even thinking about working out yet. And then after a while, once you kind of build that habit, or even it depends on you, like personally, but you can start incorporating, okay, I'm going to step outside and then I'm going to walk up the street and back, and that's it. And then you continue to do that and it starts to feel good and it becomes more of a habit. And then you can continue to lengthen that walk. That's something that's been really helpful with my clients, is just starting as small and clear as possible and then making it into something bigger, into like the vision that you have for yourself. When it comes to goal setting in general, just actually finding something that really feels good to you instead of what someone tells you to do is so important too. I think that would be my second thing there, even though I didn't write it here. The next thing that I have is the way that we talk to ourselves. A lot of times, like working with a personal trainer or a coach, they'll be able to catch you on the language that you use. So I'm Cynthia, I'm not sure if you've heard like your clients say, oh, I'm not good at working out.
Yeah.
I'm not, like I can't do this. I've never walked a mile before. Or I can't do that because of this.
Right.
Oftentimes we create a box for ourselves of, okay, I can't do this. So you're stuck right here. And that's a self-limiting belief. But if you just tweak that a tad and just like, okay, well, I'm not good at this yet. I'm not good at it yet. Or I haven't walked a mile, but what would it be like if I did? I know I can take a couple steps. And using that type of language, just changing that, like very, the word I use is static, like a very just like unwavering, unchanging belief about yourself, and making it a little more flowy, a little more dynamic. So
try on the thought that perhaps we could do something along those lines.
Exactly. Like maybe I can give that a try, or like, yeah, that's a good way to say it. Like, I'll give it a try. Like, I don't know if I can do it right now, but I'll give it a try. So changing that language, the way you talk to yourself. Or another thing that I hear my clients say a lot is, I'm the type of person that, or I'm the type of person that procrastinates, or I'm the type of person that likes to sleep in every morning. Tweaking that as well is incredibly powerful. So taking away, I'm the type of person, and saying like, Oh, in the past, I've noticed a pattern that I usually sleep in the morning, or in the past, I've noticed that I've procrastinated, but that doesn't dictate your reality, like where you are right now or where you're going to be. So that's just one way that you can use your language and your mindset to help you achieve the goals that you want to achieve. It's just little tiny tweaks, which having a coach or a personal trainer or a therapist and having one that is willing to call you out on it or call you into it is very, very helpful. The next one I would say is your environment.
Okay.
This is very important, in my opinion, at least, is changing your environment to make things easier. So because like as humans, the only thing we want to do is conserve energy because we never know like when something's going to happen and we're going to have to use our energy, just because that's like years and years of programming and evolve like from evolution. We still have this mindset of like, okay, we have to conserve as much energy as possible because we never know when we're going to get chased by a lion or a tiger or a bear. And so our brains are just like, okay, we're just going to rest and we don't want to do anything that takes a lot of our energy. So working out or doing that hard assignment or having a difficult conversation, we want to avoid all of those things naturally. So it's normal. If you notice you're feeling that, it's completely normal.
It is normal. Sometimes you just feel like you're lazy or something.
Exactly. Yes. And in reality, you just don't have like the skill set yet. You just aren't sure, how to navigate that thought or that desire to just conserve energy yet. And so by changing your environment to take away any steps or any obstacles that get in the way of you doing that behavior is incredibly powerful. So if you were going to start working out, setting out your gym clothes, or if you were going to start journaling in the mornings, whenever you like charge your phone, place your journal right on top of your phone. So you're making a conscious decision to move it aside to look at your phone, or you can pick it up and start journaling. So you're just making it as easy as possible instead of having to, figure out what you're going to wear or go find your journal that's sitting in a bookshelf somewhere. Just making it as easy as possible is so important to start like incorporating behavior change.
Yeah, that's great. Love that. Yeah, make it as easy as possible. Pay attention to how you're talking to yourself. Maybe that needs to change your environment. Have a coach who can help you, hold you accountable. Think of discipline as self-love, right?
Yeah, those are all good. And then take small steps.
Small steps.
Very small steps, and celebrate those steps too. If you got up at 5 a.m. and walked outside but didn't take a walk, celebrate that. Like, come on, that's a big achievement from not doing that at all. And honestly, like showing gratitude or celebrating yourself doesn't hurt anyone. It doesn't hurt yourself. It's absolutely free. It's for you. Like it's something that you can always do, and it makes it more fun along the way. That's another thing. Just make it playful and fun.
I can see that. Like sometimes people think that they're so gung-ho and they're going strong, and then something happens and they fall off the diet wagon, or they miss a few workouts, and then sometimes they kind of lose that momentum. So it's really hard to get back on track. Do you have any suggestions or tips on that?
Yeah, definitely everything that we just talked about now. Again, speaking to a coach is really helpful too. The biggest thing that I would say is one, forgiving yourself and celebrating that you kept on it for a few weeks. That's amazing. Celebrate that, and forgive yourself for because whenever you stop doing these things, you're making a choice, a decision to stop doing these things to do other things. So also take a look at what's going on in your life. What are you giving more time and energy to during that time? Like maybe there was something bigger going on that maybe the health stuff just needed to go on the back burner. So yeah, acknowledging yourself for doing a great job, doing it for a little while, and then forgiving yourself for falling off track. And then just remembering that you can start fresh in any moment. There's always, like, even if it's like 5 p.m. and you had committed to doing something, you can start right then and there, 5 p.m. And you can start living that routine again. And then I got sidetracked. There was one more, but oh yes. So finding the bright spots. That's one that I use with my clients a lot when they are doing really great and they fall off track. I look back, or together, we co-collaborate. We work together to look back at when they were being successful, when they were working out, when they were eating healthy, when they were feeling their best. And we say, okay, well, what's different about that time period and now? So we look at what they were doing really well during that time and how can we recreate that and bring it back into what we're doing right now. So just reflecting on what was going well then. Maybe you were going to the gym because you had a friend to go with. So how can we incorporate that friendship, or like have a new gym buddy in the future? How can I call someone up right now and invite them to the gym tomorrow so I can get started and get back on track? So looking at those small things that you were doing, and even like your reasons why you were doing it, and then just pulling from that and just using those strengths and those things that you already have to build and grow when you get back on track.
Wow, such great advice. I'm taking notes because I'm going to remember this for myself and for my clients. So
of course, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure if anybody is live. Let me check really quickly.
That is totally fine.
Yeah.
I hope everyone's eating a good dinner.
Yeah, it is kind of a rough time, but I wanted to be sure to offer this time for anybody who might be at work or otherwise couldn't come during the day. But if you are watching live, you'd like to ask a question, please let us know. And this is also going to be recorded. So if you're watching in replay, ask a question. We'll try to get you an answer as well. While we're seeing if anybody has a question, can you tell everybody how to find you?
Yeah,
if somebody is inspired and wants to reach out and chat a bit more.
Sure. Yeah. I show up I'm not as big on Facebook, or I'm not on it as Facebook as often, but I'm in the group every now and then. So you might be able to spot me as like a little something here and there. And then, so I'm also on Facebook, so you can just request, like do a friend request from there. Most of my content is on Instagram. That's where I am mostly. And the tag, or the handle for that is at Love with Jels. So it's LOVE with WITH, Jels, JELS. That's where I do most of my content, and I try to move it over to Facebook too and just reuse it there. And then I also am on YouTube, and I don't know what my channel name is. I guess it's just my name, Jelsy Martinez. And then also TikTok, which is at, I believe it's Jelsy Aspen, because my middle name is Aspen. So yeah, those are a couple of platforms you can find me. But if you find me on Instagram, you can find me anywhere. So
great.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. So any questions, guys? Just checking really quickly here. So great advice. Anything else that you want to leave us with? Any last final bits of advice or final thoughts?
I guess the biggest thing that I always like to mention is that like, you are always open and you always have permission to evolve and be different. You don't have to be the same person in every single moment, even though that's comfortable for humans, as we like things to just be the same and fit into the same box. But you have the flexibility to be whoever you are in every moment, every single moment. It's my big send off. And also, Cynthia, thank you for having me.
Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
and thank you.
Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Wonderful advice. Hopefully this inspires people, helps people. And maybe we'll see you around the group. If not, seek you out on YouTube and Instagram.
Yeah.
All right, guys, any other questions? We'll go ahead and sign off. Hopefully everybody will catch this in replay. Don't hesitate to reach out. You can always put comments, ask questions, and we'll try to come back and answer them. So Jelsy, thank you so much. Appreciate everything. And hopefully you'll come back sometime.
Yeah, I would love that. I think I feel like we have to connect more too. Yeah, I would love to get to know you better.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks so much.
Thanks.